Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. Passengers at Manchester Airport are experiencing delays of up to 2.5 hours due to the heavy fog. A number of airlines, including Ryanair and Jet2, have warned passengers their flight may be disrupted. All flights are expected to experience delays this evening and some have already been cancelled. Next tonight, it's the time of the year where we all start to think about our New Year resolutions. But one student from Southport aims to spend 2025 training for a huge personal challenge. Caroline Pacanate is hoping to become the first ever deaf and blind person to climb to the top of Mount Everest. But first, she'll have to get through a tough year of training for the feat, as Andy Bonner now reports.
Caroline Pacanate has just returned from the Himalayas. She's building her experience so she can climb Everest. It'll be more of a challenge for her than for most.
I always had very good sight. But started to wear glasses at the age of 13. At around 19, I started to become very clumsy and very noticed. I have no peripheral sight, and that's when I got referred to a specialist and we found out I have Usher syndrome.
Usher syndrome is a rare genetic condition affecting sight, hearing and even balance. But it was on a trek to Everest Base Camp that Caroline realised no deaf-blind person had ever reached the summit.
I wanted to claim that spot. I also realised I have a story to tell. I want to bring a better understanding what blind means, what deaf-blind means.
Caroline's home in Southport for Christmas, but her milestones, running and hiking to practice for the ultimate peak, continue in the new year. She aims to climb Everest in 2026.
I'm treating each milestone as a way to check if I really want to continue. So I still want to go on.
Caroline's condition means she has night blindness and her tunnel vision is narrowing. She knows she must go sooner rather than later.
I want to see the world as much as possible so that if and when I will lose my sight, I'll have those amazing memories and I feel like I'll be okay. I still wasn't really believing it that I'll go blind, but this year it made me realise no, time is limited. Yeah.
So how determined are you to make this happen?
I don't know how to express it, but I think a lot of people can see it.
It will happen. It will happen. Caroline knows it won't be easy, but she's also determined that step by step, she's edging ever closer to making history. Andy Bonner, ITV News, Southport.
Wishing Caroline lots of luck. Police have arrested a man in Ormskirk on suspicion of causing the death of a cyclist in a hit and run on Boxing Day. The collision took place just before 7 p.m. on Dix Lane. The cyclist was taken to Aintree Hospital with serious injuries but died in the early hours of this morning. The 29-year-old alleged driver is currently being questioned and police are still appealing for witnesses. Police are hunting for two men believed to have stabbed a teenager outside a pub in Heswall. The 17-year-old was stabbed in the back outside the Harry Beswick pub yesterday evening, and the two men were seen running from the scene. The teenager was left with non-life-threatening injuries. Next, to the man who helped restore the iconic Bluebird watercraft, who's looking to make history himself. Alongside his work on the previous world water speed record holder, Dave Aldred has spent the last few years designing his own hydroplane, Longbow. He hopes his craft can break the current record when it takes the water on Coniston, as Paul Crone reports.
Engineer Dave Aldred feels the need for speed, 317 miles an hour to be precise, if he's to break the world water speed record in his jet hydroplane Longbow. The twin-engine craft is being built in his Thornton workshop in Lancashire before the record attempt, hopefully on Coniston in the Lake District.
This is doing it just an hour up the road at Coniston, so it's very real. The public can come and see it. And there aren't many records that you can do that are outright records, the fastest in the world.
Dave worked on the team which restored Donald Campbell's famous Bluebird, which returned home to Coniston after it crashed in 1967, killing Campbell. He's aware of the dangers Longbow's pilot will face at such high speeds.
You've no suspension. There could be things in the water. You've got gusts coming down off the mountains and the like. And it's the trick is to keep the boat skimming across the water without taking off or without going in.
To give you an idea of how powerful these Rolls-Royce engines are, if we stood the boat up on its end, started the engines up, it would take off like a rocket. On the water, the craft will look similar to this single-engine hydroplane piloted by Australian Dave Warby. Working on a tight budget doesn't deter Dave Aldred and his small team of dedicated experts, hoping to bring the world water speed record made way back in 1978 back to Britain.
With Donald, he couldn't even see to some extent. He was getting eyeball oscillation. Now with Longbow, she's an air trapping hull, so that's a little bit different. She skims across the water much better. Yeah, it's something else. It's horrendously quick.
On completion, Longbow is likely to undergo trials in Scottish waters before what would be a truly historic attempt on Coniston. We'll keep you up to date with Longbow's progress to enter the history books. Paul Crone, ITV News.
Now, many of you watching at home may be starting to take down your Christmas decorations, but for some members of the North West Black community, celebrations have just begun. It's day 2 of Kwanzaa, a Pan-African holiday that promotes history, values, family, community and culture. The week-long celebration ends on New Year's Day, and 9-year-old Teyu has been telling us all about it.
Hi, my name's Teyu. Come celebrate Kwanzaa with me. Kwanzaa, 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 Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a week-long holiday where we learn about our history and spend time with family and have lots of nice food. Kwanzaa is important to me because we get to share gifts with our family and friends. There are 7 principles in Kwanzaa. Each day we light a candle to highlight each principle. Umoja, Kuchijakalia, Zujima, Zuchoma, Nia, Kumbalimani. Kwanzaa was created in America in 1966. Now it's celebrated all over the globe.
Some people may show love, some may show hate.
Celebrations have been taking place in Manchester since the 80s, and Mr. Washington has helped to run some of them.
Kwanzaa is a reflection of a time to pay homage to our ancestors. We are not discriminating against anybody, but it's a time for us as a race and as a people to be in a space where we reflect on our culture and our history and use it as milestones and as markers to motivate ourselves.
This year, my mum has put on a show to share the message of Kwanzaa with others.
When I had my son Teyu, then we started celebrating Kwanzaa because I wanted him to have something to that he could use in his day-to-day life. I just liked the principles of Kwanzaa, and I thought it would connect with, his culture, understanding him as a person. The reason why I put on this Kwanzaa performance was to help teach the children that I do dance with about the principles of Kwanzaa, because the way that I feel like it's helped my son, and I feel like it would help my dancers as well.
It's been really exciting learning about Kwanzaa and where we come from as a community.
My favourite bit about Kwanzaa is where all the colours are so bright and nice. It's so exciting, and I told my mum and dad that I want to do it this year.
Happy Kwanzaa!
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
In sport, the festive football continues this weekend as Premier League leaders Liverpool go to West Ham on Sunday. They're now 7 points clear at the top. That's thanks to a win over Leicester.
Of course, nice for us to be the team who we are, so we know we are able to do this.
For the next 3, 4, 5 years. And this is sometimes not easy to do it. But of course, I think we
really have pushed on from that. 2 losses in 13. I know there's been a lot of draws, but it's not easy to do that in the Premier League.
This will be a tough moment, and we are far from the end of this moment. And that's it. We have to continue and focus on the next game.
In the Championship, what a win for Burnley, who beat Sheffield United 2-0. Scott Parker's side are now third, just 1 point behind their title rivals.
I'm extremely proud of the team, a young team, what we have here, constantly in development and always coming up against different things every week in terms of whether that's the personnel they're up against or stadiums, whatever that may be. I thought we executed very well today.
Elsewhere, Preston picked up their first victory at home since October as they won 1-0 against Hull. While Blackburn's Harry Leonard scored a late equaliser as they drew 2-2 with fellow promotion chasers Sunderland. In League One, our only winners were Wigan Athletic, who won 1-0 on their travels against Rotherham. Incoming Fleetwood Town boss Pete Wild watched from the stands as his new club won 2-0 against Chesterfield in League Two. Salford made it 3 wins in a row thanks to a 3-0 win over Barrow. And Morecambe won their all-important basement battle with Carlisle thanks to a 1-0 win. David Chisnell, ITV News.
Very foggy out there. Will it lift? Well, here's the weather with Kerry.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, a very good evening to you. It's been a calm Christmas this year, but of course with those light winds leading to quite a bit of mist and fog over the last couple of days. But above that low cloud, over the mountain tops, some beautiful scenes. As we head into the weekend, mist and fog still plaguing the northwest as we head into tomorrow morning, but windier conditions through the weekend will help to mix things up a little bit, but also produce a slightly more unsettled weather story as we head closer towards New Year's Eve. So we lose the high pressure and look to the north for low pressure. Still a bit of a question mark about where it all sits, but certainly the isobars will be tighter, the winds will be stronger, and it's looking a little more unsettled over the coming few days into early next week. But overnight tonight, the winds are light, so of course that mist and murk reforming and rethickening. Even thick enough for some rain and drizzle around in places. The winds are light, they're from that southwesterly direction, and temperatures little change compared to today's values, and where it is at its thickest in parts of Derbyshire, for example, 3s and 4s, cold and cloudy for many. As we head into tomorrow, 8:29 and 3:57 are your sun times as we head into the weekend. A bit disappointing, I think, tomorrow morning. There'll be more of a breeze for the Isle of Man, helping to lift the low cloud, but elsewhere a grey start, maybe some limited brightness for the middle part of the day, and then we've got this cold front approaching Cumbria and the Isle of Man by the end of daylight hours. Ahead of that, still relatively mild, certainly average or just above, but still a lot of low cloud over the hills. The cold front will push through and bring a little bit more brightness for the second half of the weekend on Sunday, but bright and blustery, those winds will start to whip up, and then looking a bit more unsettled towards New Year.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
That's all from us. Andrew will be back with your headlines tomorrow just before 6 o'clock. But for now, enjoy what's left of your evening, and I'll see you soon.